Yeah.
Probably more chairs in the back room.
Perhaps.
Since it is 6:30, I'd like to call this regular council meeting to order. The Township of Black River Madison acknowledges the Abitibi and the Seneca Nation traditional territory. We live, play, and work here together, and together we shall build a strong and inclusive community. And it's just a reminder to all in attendance that council meetings are recorded and made available to the public on the township website for review. We're moving to seconder for resolution to adopt our agenda. By Councilor Rondo and Councilor Schmidt.
Can I read the motion, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, please.
It was moved by Councilor Rondo and seconded by Councilor Schmidt. Be it resolved that the agenda for the January 9th, 2024 regular council meeting be adopted as printed.
Call for a vote. All those in favor?
Mayor,
Sorry, yes, Councilor.
I had a point before you took the vote.
What do you mean?
I had a point before you took the vote.
Point?
I'd like to discuss something.
If his hand was up before you
Yeah,
did it.
okay.
I'd like to add somewhere in there a discussion regarding closed meeting and Zoom meetings. We can entertain that.
We'll put it under verbal reports. So we'll put it under reports as verbal. So it'll be agenda item 11A.
As well. Anything, another item, please?
If it's possible.
I'm asking you, okay? I would like to move item 6 to 15. I don't really see the need in having two closed meetings. So
I'll let the clerk speak to that one, Councilor Diamond, right now.
can I finish or?
Not just regarding moving the two items, or if it's regarding moving the two to closed around, I'll let the clerk speak to it, so we don't have to worry about moving forward.
You can finish.
Well, unless you want to finish, if there's something else to add to that.
Yeah, as a mid-sentence. The reason I'm saying this is because if we move 6 to 15, all we have to do is clear 4, 5, 9, 12, and 13 on our agenda, which there isn't much to clear. And if our two delegations would be okay with staying an extra 15 minutes, that way we could go into closed and do the delegations, and then they could leave and we could finish with our other two items in closed, which are part 2 of the agenda that was sent out.
And it's, sorry for cutting you off, but the clerk will explain to you exactly why we're doing what we're doing.
Well, if council chooses to entertain the first closed meeting, you'll still have to have 2 closed meetings. It's another clerk in the second closed meeting, which is another set of council meeting minutes. So you're not gonna have one set of closed meeting minutes with 2 clerks, because this clerk has signed an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, to not see the second set of closed meeting minutes. So if you move it, you'll still have 2 closed meetings,
Back to back.
back to back.
I'm okay with that. I'd like to motion that we do that.
No, so we moved. item 16. Yeah, because that's the second close and she'll be there anyway, I'll be emailed. So that becomes 15A. And then 15A. Becomes 15B. Yeah. Well, there's still, so technically there's a motion on the table because the motion's been amended to allow for the 2 amendments. So the motion's been changed to amended, so Councillor Diamond has amended it to reflect the 2 additional items. Council will vote if they agree to add those 2 additional items. I hear you, Mr. Mayor, we're not gonna complicate it. We're gonna keep it as one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll call for a vote on the amended resolution. All those in favor? Carried. Same objection, carried.
So I would just. Yeah, I do.
And hope that will work for our two groups that are here to speak to council and closed. Are you all right with waiting for a little while, or? That's it. You're fine with that? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I can start.
Yes.
Councillor Gattery, are you there?
Yes, I am.
If you could turn on your camera.
So we can see your hand.
If you can't turn on your camera, can you just let us know so that way the mayor knows to look to you when voting, so you can verbally state how you vote?
Okay, yes, I'm okay with that. I can't turn on my camera because it was turned on at your end. It says the host turned it off.
Okay, so just a second, I'll have the host. Are you okay with your camera being turned on?
Yeah,
Okay,
Thanks, Councillor Gallery.
you can keep going, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Does anyone have a disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Seeing none, we'll move forward. To item number 4, adoption of minutes. I need a mover and a seconder to adopt. Got Councillor Neal and Councillor Rondo. Go ahead and read the resolution. Clerk.
It was moved by Councillor Neal and seconded by Councillor Rondo. Be it resolved that the following meeting minutes are hereby adopted as presented. Minutes of a regular council meeting held December 12th, 2023. Minutes of an emergency council meeting held December 21st, 2023. The minutes acknowledged are minutes of a library board meeting held December 11th, 2023.
All heard the resolution. All those in favor of the resolution? Councillor Gadry? Oh, thank you. I can see
Yeah.
you. Very good. Seeing no objections, carried. Move into item 5A. Or into item 5, I'm sorry, regarding the consent agenda. So I need to move. Consent agenda. Councillor Neal and Councillor Diamond.
It was moved by Councillor Neal, seconded by Councillor Diamond. Be it resolved that the consent agenda items as listed on the January 9th, 2024 council agenda be received as the motions contained therein be approved and reported as listed below.
Seeing no questions, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Seeing no objections, carried.
Yes, so it's going, you go now to 9A.
Move on to 9A under new business. I need a mover and a seconder on the for the resolution 9E, Councillor Rondo, Councillor Cancel.
Can I read the motion?
Please.
It was moved by Councillor Rondo and seconded by Councillor Cancel. Be it resolved that council direct the clerk to bring back the Recreation Ad Hoc Committee terms of reference via bylaw and reflect the mandate and responsibilities completion date to December 31st, 2024.
Questions or concerns? Seeing none, call for a vote. All those in favor of the resolution? Seeing no objections, carried. Move to item 9B. Move to seconder one more time. Councillor Schmidt and Councillor Rondo.
Can I read the motion?
Please.
It was moved by Councillor Schmidt and seconded by Councillor Rondo. Be it resolved that council authorize any surplus from the 2023 audit to be allocated to the tax stabilization reserve as per the municipal reserve and reserve funds policy CP-1700-01. And finally, that council authorize any deficit from the 2023 audit to be removed from the working capital fund as per the reserve and reserve funds policy CP-1700-01.
Any questions or concerns? Yes, Councillor.
Yes, Your Worship. Should that be the 2022 audit? Do we have it on for 2023?
Let's clerk to respond to that, please.
So we just actually adopted the 2022 financial statements. We're done that audit. We're going to start the 2023 audit. So we passed this motion ahead of time before we even start the audit. So that way the auditors know when the financial statements are presented where either the surplus or the deficit has been allocated.
So that is all to deal with the 2023 operations
Yes.
budget.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
no, not the operational
Well,
budget, the audit. Yeah.
No other questions? I'll call for a vote on the resolution. All those in favor of the resolution? Seeing no objections, carried.
So, Mr. Mayor, this is the part where Councillor Diamond has added to report 11A.
Okay, Councillor Diamond. Something here to the agenda.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Question is fairly simple, is what security do we have as a council and staff that when we have a Zoom meeting, when we go into closed, that there's no other people in that household that are participating or listening to our council meetings? Because we've had some issues in the past and we're trying to solve leaks, if you will, but we have zero security in like a meeting like tonight where we had to close. We don't know where the councillor is or the mayor, if it be. Last meeting, we had 3 councillors on Zoom with the cameras blacked out. It could have been in Toronto Airport, there could have been in a hotel room in Cuba, we don't know. So if we're trying to solve some of our issues, I think we need to discuss security.
Yes, Madam Clerk, please respond to that and explain our process.
Well, first I need to, so security from hackers, is that one part of security or security from council members being in a room by themselves with no one else around?
Exactly, in a room by themselves. We have no guarantee.
You don't, so you're relying on councils to govern themselves. If, so, under the Municipal Act, you are allowed to do that. However, if council is looking at potentially wanting to safeguard and protect some of that information, you'll have to adjust your procedural bylaw. And in your procedural bylaw, you'll have to put wording that perhaps for your closed meetings, you don't permit council members to join those meetings through Zoom. They have to be there in person. That would be one way to stop that.
Honesty.
So off the top of my head, that would be the one way to do it, Councilor Knight.
So how do we approach that? Do we bring a report in to discuss it, or do we?
You could table a motion right now to direct the clerk to bring something back.
Okay, I'd like to do that. I'd like to table a motion.
To amend a procedural bylaw to that point.
Yeah, I think so. If we're pretty keen on having closed meetings just about every, meeting, so I think we need to protect ourselves.
Well, they are necessary most of the time, otherwise we wouldn't be having them, so if there's concern, then we need to address them. Oops, sorry, Chris?
Just to further to what Councillor Diamond was asking about. If a member of council decided that they wanted somebody else in the room. Or during the closed meeting in Zoom or whatever. Wherever, at the public. I think that council member needs to understand that they signed an oath. And that oath contains a requirement to bring things that are secret or confidential like this must remain that way. If you violate the oath, then you can be investigated for a criminal act. And so anybody that has done that or decides to do that takes it at their own peril. And when I say a criminal act, some things we talk about in closed wouldn't draw criminal litigation, but some would. So I would just author that up. I don't disagree with what Councillor Diamond is saying or how we get there, but everybody should understand.
Yes, Ken.
Then again, so tools for council members, for staff, and for members of the public is also, if there's a complaint that needs to be lodged it with the integrity commissioner. So that would be one of those things, because that's a breach of code of conduct as well.
But you prefer to have the motion in favor to amend our procedural bylaw then?
Can we bring it up for discussion another time and give some time for other council members to
And ask
think
to
about
have
it?
it attended on a further agenda?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
You'd
So
like to have it just be put on with one of our agendas, our future agendas, that we have that discussion at that time. About how to proceed, how council would like to proceed with looking after that issue.
So you don't want a report from staff. You would just like to be able to have an open discussion about how to resolve it. Is that what council's wanting?
If you're willing to prepare a report, yeah, and then that'll open the discussion.
Yes,
If I can, I'm always willing to prepare a report. You can appreciate currently it's a little difficult to do just with the labor interruption. So I can get you a report. I know this is something you probably want to deal with sooner rather than later. It would be easier if I'm being honest. So let's just have an open conversation and don't wait for a report from me. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to council. I just, like today, I did utility billing all day. So if the treasury aspect currently of my job is taking a lot of time. So I'd rather just, if it's okay for now, let's put it on the next agenda. Don't wait for a report from me. That's unfair for both council and for myself.
that's fine. That looks after your concern, Councilor Adam?
So if council's okay, I've made a note. There's no motion, but it'll be on your next agenda. Are you okay with that? Okay. We're at 12:08. We're now at the
I was
bylaws.
gonna say there's no number. So we're going into item 12A under bylaws. Need to move in a second or one more time. Councilor Neal, Councilor Smith.
Can I read the motion, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, please.
It was moved by Councillor Neal and seconded by Councillor Schmidt, that bylaw number 2024-01, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2023-04, being a bylaw to enter into an agreement with His Majesty the King in right of Ontario, as represented by the Minister of Natural Resources, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 9th day of January, 2024.
Questions concerning the resolution? Seeing none, I'll call for vote. All those in favor? Seeing no objections, carried. We have another one, item 12B. We have another resolution. I need to move in a second regarding this one also. Councilor Rondo, Seconder yet? Counselor Schmidt? Please read the resolution, Madam Clerk.
It was moved by Councillor Rondo and seconded by Councillor Schmidt that bylaw number 2024-03, being a bylaw to authorize the mayor and treasurer of the corporation of the township of Black River, Matheson to borrow certain sums to meet current expenditures of the corporation in the year 2024, be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 9th day of January 2024.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Okay, so the way the bylaw reads, it can be misleading. What this is the $2 million line of credit. So this is an annual bylaw that comes in front of council. Currently, we do not need to access the line of credit. Should that time come, I'll let council.
Smart housekeeping.
Yes, it's a requirement from CIBC.
Very good. No other questions or concerns? I'll call for a vote on the resolution. All those in favor? Seeing no objections, carried. Item 12C, we got another resolution, another bylaw, and we need another resolution, another mover and a seconder. Councilor Rondo. Councilor Schmidt. Please read the resolution.
It was moved by Councillor Rondo and seconded by Councillor Schmidt that bylaw number 2024-04, being a bylaw to provide for an interim tax levy, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 9th day of January 2024.
Yes, Councilor Dunn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My question would be for the clerk treasurer. 170202, are we going to adhere to that for our timelines? I know we're past it now, but can we get back onto?
What's 17? Is that within the bylaw?
Yeah, it was, I guess it was a draft, but it's in September, we're gonna do this in October, November, January. A whole bunch of dates that we do get the draft budget released in February and the public meeting in February and the staff report in February.
Oh, you're talking about a policy, so you're not
Yeah.
talking about the bylaw, you're talking about a policy.
Yeah. So are we gonna be able to adhere? Are we gonna be able to catch up to that? Or are we gonna?
Well, that has nothing to do with this, but I can address that. So that, no, we're already behind in that policy. You were supposed to have a report for the 2024 budget, I think back in September. But with the labor interruption, I haven't even started the budgets. So no, we are not following that policy.
Does the mover and seconder have any questions regarding this resolution?
But if I can, Mr.
Yes,
This
please.
bylaw has to do with the income tax levy.
Yeah.
So what this is council's giving me authority to bill the taxpayers 50% of last year's for cash flow. So this is separate from the budget, but I have no problem having an open discussion with council about the budget for 2024.
Yes, Councilor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a question about the levy of 2023. So when we come to the levy for 2024, and it's less, let's just hypothetically speaking, say less than potential levy that we're going to implement now, does that get adjusted for the year end?
Well, that's a discussion in
Payment?
itself. I wouldn't, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes, no, go ahead, Council.
Rarely does the tax rate go down. So last year you had a huge jump because of cash flow issues.
Right.
Your tax levy then in 2024 is not going to go down.
Okay.
If anything, council could direct the clerk treasurer to go outside the policy and do a zero-based budget, where basically we're raising the same amount of money as we did
Okay.
last year, even again this year. However, so council's tax rate, or sorry, the municipal tax rate won't change, but it doesn't mean that individuals' property taxes won't change, because the assessment
Okay.
by MPAC may have
Okay.
changed.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the question. Any other questions from the movement first? No? Okay, Councilor Young?
That's just a question. Is impact, going to do an assessment in 2024? Because I thought it was not from 2025 now.
Yes, guys, please.
Well, and then the CAO was hand up, but no,
Sorry.
MPAC is not doing a reassessment in 2024. So we're still using 2016 current value assessments.
Yes, Chris.
You won't see the assessment. Systems that you see. Province, as I think, council will be changing the tax system. Whether they go back to 1 year cycle or 2 years, who knows? But they're gonna fiddle with the tax system because it's been set up. And this is not a good thing. it's not a good thing because it means more calculations that are more complex and likely more difficult for ratepayers and staff. to understand. But the jury's out on that because we don't know what they're gonna do. Just know that they have said that they're gonna want to.
All right, see no other hands, then I'll call for a vote on the resolution. All those in favor of the resolution? Seeing no objections, carried.
Yes, so if I can, Mr. Mayor and Council, so Paul Chatelain, it has connected through Zoom. This is something that's come back to council and, Paul did provide, or Mr. Chatelain did provide correspondence for council. However, we wanted to invite him. That way, if you have any questions, you can satisfy those questions this evening.
That was just for council's benefit again, for the memories purposes. It was regarding the request for funds for the acquisition of medical stuff. And work would be funded. So is Mr. Shanley with us?
He is, I don't know if he can hear us, so they want to ask if he can hear us.
Paul, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
There you are. Nice to see you tonight, Paul.
Yeah, well, better than in person with the snowstorm.
Good. Be comfortable. Yes.
So, what should be done is that we should table the motion. And then council can have a discussion, at least that way. Yep.
Okay, the clerk has a resolution prepared, and then once we have a mover and a seconder, then at least we can properly entertain Mr. Shanley. So I need a mover and a seconder. Councilor Rondo and Councilor Neal.
Moved by Councilor Rondo and seconded by Councilor Neal. Whereas the Worker Bee Committee is comprised of the municipalities of Iroquois Falls, Cochrane, and Black River Matheson, along with mixed representation. And whereas the appointment of the Worker Bee Committee has lapsed since the conclusion of its term in 2022. And whereas efforts are underway to transform the Worker Bee Committee into a nonprofit organization. And whereas the municipality of Black River Matheson is diligently safeguarding the Worker Bee funds in trust pending the finalization of nonprofit status. Therefore, be it resolved that to facilitate the release of the requested funds, a resolution of support shall be deliberated at the council tables of Iroquois Falls and Cochrane, ensuring comprehensive documentation and understanding of the funds disbursements. Furthermore, that the Township of Black River Matheson endorses the release of the funds for the specified purposes outlined in the letter from Mix dated December 30th, 2023 and December 21st, 2023. And that the letter dated November 30th, 2023 and December 21st, 2023, along with a copy of this resolution, be forwarded to the towns of Iroquois Falls and Cochrane for their review and endorsement. And finally, that the municipality of Black River Matheson receive copies of the resolution from Iroquois Falls and Cochrane for documentation on the funds requested. Yes, I did.
Yes, Councilor Rondo.
I want to know if if we're gonna give them this money, since it's Mrs. Lavoie going. $7,000 number one is steep, and are they gonna go out there and promote Matheson for doctors, or are they gonna promote just Iroquois Falls and Cochrane like they normally do? That's what I want to know.
I think it's a reasonable question.
Because if that's the case, I'm not in agreement with them getting any of the money.
Paul, can you comment?
Yeah, no, great question. Thank you. So the advantage of the mixed group of health services attending this conference, which is a great conference, is we represent all communities in mix, which includes Matheson. So we've been doing this for many, many years now, and the reason why we're approaching Black River Matheson Council tonight is we've invested money into the worker bees. Ideally, they would have a physician recruiter doing this. They haven't had a physician recruiter in almost 2 years now. And we would like to attend this conference, and our finances are pretty dire that we will attend. But when we attend all the conferences, all the recruitment fairs, we represent Matheson, Iroquois Falls, and Cochrane.
Yes, Councilor Rondo, follow up.
Okay, but with all due respect, Paul,
Yep.
You guys always recruit physicians for Iroquois Falls and Cochrane. We haven't had a physician recruited here since Dr. Bocher and Dr. Gray. So, well, we're not getting any. So why should we give you that money? Because we know, I know for a fact, you guys are not gonna promote Matheson. You guys are gonna promote Iroquois Falls and Cochrane.
Not, actually, that's not true at all.
So why would it change now?
Well,
Yes, Paul.
a couple of reasons. First of all, we always promote Matheson because it's a two physician run hospital, and there's a lot of interest in physicians in going to Matheson because of this small town and unique. The housing is right across the street, so it's actually quite advantageous for physicians to come to Matheson. But it's not our choice. I mean, they go where they want to go, right? We haven't had much luck, to be honest, in any of the towns. We had a bit of luck in Iroquois Falls, as you probably know, and a couple of those physicians that were recruited over the last couple of years have departed already. So, but just go. I want to go back to your question about, or your comment about the council's money. It's council's money. You're holding it in trust. This money has been donated by the town of Iroquois Falls, Cochrane, Matheson, and also the mixed group. So all we're asking for is $7,000 out of the $20,000 that the mixed group has invested in this worker bee trust fund to attend this conference. That's all. So, and just to add to that comment, if we don't go out there and try and recruit, we'll never get doctors. So.
All right, thanks, Paul. Yes, Councilor Neil.
Yes, your worship, it's a question. So Paul, when I look, this is an annual conference and Mix has gone out there on an annual basis. What has been the success rate of recruiting doctors from this conference for the last 5 years?
So the mixed group has attended this annual conference, twice now. No, 3 times. One in Halifax, one in Ottawa, and one last year in Niagara Falls. The success rate is 0. But what is, and the success rate for pretty much all the recruitment fairs that we attend is almost nil. We do get a lot of inquiries to do residencies, locums, which is helping. We've had a couple of locums who've chosen to come to Cochrane, Lady Minto Hospital as a result of these conferences, but they haven't stayed. But we've only attended this conference 3 years. But the nice thing about this conference, as opposed to the medical school recruitments, this conference is you're looking at physicians who have been practicing for many, many years, and they just want to change. They go to this annual conference. It's not a medical school recruitment fair, and a lot of these physicians will just attend these conferences as part of their CME credits. But they want to change, often they want to go to a different community to practice. They've been probably working in their hospital for 15, 20 years, and they just want to change it up. So it's not just medical recruitment. So all that to say, this conference is actually more lucrative to hire or to recruit physicians because they're not just new grads coming out of university and wanting to go to Montreal, Toronto, or whatever, Vancouver, or anybody else. So I hope I answered the question, but.
Any other questions for Mr. Shadling? The council. And Paul, I do understand the difficulty in trying to attract professionals to any of the 3 communities based on some of the requirements and needs of these professionals or what they're looking for, whether it be recreational activities or so on and so forth. The one good thing that we all have up here is our outdoor activities and outdoor recreational activities and lots of those type of activities with hunting and fishing and so on and so forth. So we have to attract the right people that actually want to live in these communities. And I realize you've got a tough job ahead of you, but now it's up to council to decide if they're, and unfortunately, the work, I was hoping by this point in time, the worker bees would be a nonprofit. And this money would be being looked after by them rather than by the municipality. And the only reason that these tough questions are coming from here has been, number one, we're responsible for the funds, no matter where they came from. And second of all is, of course, everybody's concerned about our own community. Lack of physicians or physician, and you've alluded to the fact that it seems to be almost like a turnstile that they come and they go, and I know in Madison now, at Bingham, we have 2 half-time doctors, so we basically got 1 doctor. So, and I also understand Cochrane, Norfolk Falls is under pressure, but I do understand council's concerns and different councilors' concerns over where these doctors are located and the feeling that maybe that they've been kind of suggested they go elsewhere. So I understand where both sides are coming from. So is there any other questions from council? If there aren't any, then we have a resolution on the floor. Okay, good. So we've read the resolution. If nobody has any more questions for Paul, we'll entertain the resolution and I'll call for a vote on the resolution. All those in favor of the resolution of allowing the funds to be utilized for this purpose? Call for vote. All those in favor? Against? The motion is defeated. Sorry, Paul. Thanks for your time. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
no problem. No problem. Have a good night.
B,
Yes.
13B. We have another resolution regarding a board member application for community living in Norfolk Falls, which represents our area. I need a mover and a seconder. I got Councilor Schmidt, Councilor Ron.
It was moved by Councillor Schmidt and seconded by Councillor Rondo. Be it resolved that council appoint the following member or members to the Community Living Board, and it's been left blank.
Councilor Schmidt, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I had a lovely conversation with Lorraine from Community Living. At this time, I personally am not able to commit myself to this position. But we did speak about potentially myself sitting on the board in future. So I look forward to developing a relationship with her and hopefully to a point where I'm able to sit on board with them and contribute in this way. Just not at this time.
Thank you very much, Councilor Schmidt. Is there any other council that's willing to attach their name to this resolution? I know I've sat, just for council's benefit, I sat on the previous term of council, I sat as a member of community living. And it was interesting, and community living does look after the needs of any developmentally handicapped or handicapped individual. You put your name in, Councilor Rondo? Thank you. So now we have a resolution on the floor with a name from being Councilor Rondo that's willing to attend these meetings on our behalf and bring back information back and forth. So all those in favor of the resolution, show of hands, please. Seeing no objections, or sorry, and in favor, Councilor Biden?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I just didn't see your hand. Sorry. I thought it came up after. I just thought maybe I just.
But I put up twice.
Thank you very much. Seeing no objections, motion's carried.
Yeah, moving into the first vote.
So first of all, which is
That's right. I'll read the motion.
I need to move in second.
Yeah.
Need a mover and a seconder for this resolution. We're going to close by Councilor Neal and Councilor Ron.
Moved by Councillor Neal and seconded by Councillor Rondo. Be it resolved that council now comes into a portion of the meeting that shall be closed to the public at 7:08 PM in accordance with section 239 subsection 2 of the Municipal Act to discuss a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. So a presentation from investors regarding potential purchase of municipal land under section 239 subsection 2 clause C.
Thank you very much. All right, all those in favor of the resolution? Seeing no objections, carried. So I guess we've reached the point where we'll have to ask our public to to leave the chambers. And then we can move into our in-camera session so that we can deal with the in-camera issues. And thank you very much for attending, and I apologize for this portion.